Good afternoon and welcome here to Goodekoons Field here on the campus of Taylor University for this afternoon's softball doubleheader between the 12th ranked Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats and the Taylor University Trojans. IWU comes in with an overall record of 30-5. They're 11-3 in the Crossroads League, and they currently sit in third place in the league standings. Darby Shaw gets the start in the circle, and the first pitch, a called strike from our home plate umpire, Keith Poinier. Leading things off for IWU will be Lauren Buckley, their left fielder. They'll go lefty, lefty, righty in the first three in the order. Kira Madel, the center fielder, and then Alex Springer, the DP, will be the first righty that Darby Shaw will face. She goes screwball away from the lefty Buckley, and the count levels up at a ball and a strike. Buckley, a 5'5 junior from Centennial, Colorado, comes into the day batting .320, 33 hits and 103 at-bats, 4 doubles, 3 triples, and 10 runs batted in. The 1-1, little half-check swing, that'll be called out at home plate because they'll say that Buckley tried to slap her way on. She made contact once she left the box. So a well-placed hit to the right center field gap, but it's all for naught. And there's one gone here as IWU head coach Steve Babinski comes down to coach third base. Talking things over with our home plate umpire, Keith Poinier. And Keith Poinier, the home plate umpire, pointed right to where Buckley's foot stepped out, so there's one gone here at the top of the first for Indiana Wesleyan. Kira Madel, the center fielder, will bat second. She goes after the first one here and lines it into the netting to our left. Darby Shaw, the IPFW transfer, making her 10th start of the season, her 12th appearance overall. Darby has a 5-2 overall record. The right-hander, a 3.39 ERA. Has struck out 23 batters and walked 26. A soft one-hopper. Kuzin knocks it down short, picks it back up. She won't be able to make the throw over to first. And the first base runner on safely here for Indiana Wesleyan with one gone here in the top half of the first inning. Little one hop just goes off the end of the glove of Kuzin over there at short. And there's one on for the DP, Alex Springer. And so actually they will go 3 lefties to start. Make it 4 lefties with Exposito standing on deck. Change up, swing and a miss from Springer for strike number 1. So I'll go down as an infield single for Kira Madel. And she's over there at first with one out. The defense behind Darby Shaw today is the second one upstairs for ball 1. Olivia Hostetler in left, Courtney Moriarty in center. She shadows about 10 to 15 steps to her right or left from dead center. And Hannah Castor way back over there in right. Shaw trying to keep it away from the powerful Springer, and it's 2-1. The infield, Taylor Wilson at third, Cassie Kuzin at short, Kara Tucker at second, Aaron Kozad at first, and Davis Carter behind the plate. Springer comes in, 13 doubles, 4 home runs, and a .368 average. The 2-1 from Shaw. Bouncer left side. That will be played in fair ground by Taylor Wilson, the third baseman. Pulls Kozad off the bag. She'll tag Springer out as she came up the line. It does move Madel over to second base, and there's now 2 outs here in the top of the first for Indiana Wesleyan. And this week's Crossroads League Player of the Week, Kristen Exposito. Two outs and a runner in scoring position for the high-octane offense of Indiana Wesleyan. Exposito thought about it on a breaking ball away from the lefty wearing number 15 here this afternoon. Exposito batting .349, slugging .880 with 8 doubles and a team-best 12 home runs on the year. She's driven in 37 runs this year. This one off the end of the bat, and this one could be trouble. They'll easily wave in Madel from second. The throw from Moriarty in center, and it's a 2-out single to left center field for Kristen Exposito. And the lefty puts Indiana Wesleyan on the board first. They're up 1-0 here with 2 outs in the top half of the first inning. So a 2-out knock here for Indiana Wesleyan. And that'll bring up the second baseman, Kelsey Koistra, another lefty. Indiana Wesleyan goes 6 lefties to start the lineup, and then there are 3 righties in the bottom third of the order. Koistra, a slap-hitting second baseman, will take the first one upstairs for a ball. Second one from Shaw. Half swing, lined opposite way, and it's a foul. Koistra, a 5'6 senior from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Went 0 for 3 in the 12-6 win for the Wildcats over Goshen last Friday. The Trojans haven't played in a game in 11 days. That was back on March 30th when they swept Bethel back on spring break. Bunt back up the middle. Shaw to Tucker over at second, and they'll get the out over there, retiring the speedy Koistra. So they limit the damage to just one to the Trojans here in the top half of the first. They will bat for the first time when we come back from this commercial break. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Founded in 1950, Central Indiana Orthopedics began its tradition of offering compassionate expert treatment for patients with bone, joint, and muscle injuries and conditions. CIO doctors and staff continue that tradition today and provide specialized care in the following areas: ankle, back, elbow, foot, hand, hip, joint replacement and revision, knee, neck, physical medicine and rehabilitation, shoulder, spine, sports medicine, and wrist. CIO has locations in Anderson, Elwood, Fishers, Marion, Muncie, and Portland. The Anderson, Muncie, and Fishers offices also have walk-in clinics for acute injuries less than 2 weeks old, which do not require a referral or appointment. The doctors and specialized staff of CIO proudly serve as the official team doctors for Taylor University, as well as several area high schools and universities. To make an appointment or find out other information about Central Indiana Orthopedics, they can be reached at 800-622-6575 or at ciocenter.com. Bottom half of the first, and Taylor will try to even the score at one apiece as they bat for the first time here this afternoon. Cassie Kuzin, the Trojan shortstop, will lead things off. She's arguably the hottest batter in the Crossroads League right now. First one from Carly Weaver, off speed and away for a ball. Kuzin comes in her last four, batting .733. She's gone 5 home runs. Well, that would only be if you only hit home runs, particularly during that. Comes in with wins for the Wildcats. She has their second to make it 3-1. Weaver 89 strikeouts to 33 walks. Her last outing came in relief in the Game 2 win over Goshen last Friday. She came in 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 5 Ks, and a walk. She'll fool an inside changeup past Kuzin, and the count goes full to the Trojan leadoff batter here at the bottom of the first. Kara Tucker will bat second. Courtney Moriarty will bat third here for TU in the bottom of the first inning, trailing by 1. The payoff pitch, that one high, chin level, into the leadoff walk for Cassie Kuzin as she continues to find every way possible to make her way on base. The defense behind Weaver here this afternoon: Lauren Buckley is in left, Kira Madels in center, Victoria Boyer in right, Aubrey Eckert is at third, Rebecca Schrad is at short, Kelsey Koistra, at second, Exposito, that's Kristen Exposito, at first, and Emily Hastings is behind the plate. Tucker shows bunt, will punch it up the first baseline, fielded by the lefty Exposito, over to Koistra at first. And the sacrifice works for Tucker. They move Kuzin over to second with 1 gone for the power swinging Courtney Moriarty. Trojans doing everything they can, knowing how powerful this lineup is for Indiana Wesleyan. Their pitching not too shabby either. They limit their opponents to just over 2 runs and just below 6 hits per ball game. Moriarty swings and misses at a curveball low and away. She steps out of the box. and she's down 0-1. Courtney's last 4 games have been pretty good as well. .467 the average. 7 for 15 with 3 doubles, a home run, and 4 batted in. Second one, low and away. Hastings tries to frame it, and that levels the count at a ball and a strike. We already mentioned that Keith Poinier, our home plate umpire this afternoon, Kaylee Young, our umpire in the field here in game number 1. The 1-1. Off speed this one on the opposite batter's box as Kuzin dances well off of second base. And it's 2-1 in favor of Courtney Moriarty. These two teams have already met twice this season. A doubleheader sweep for Indiana Wesleyan, but a low-scoring affair as the Wildcats outscored the Trojans 6-3 in those 2 contests. Fourth pitch is low. It's 3-1 to the Taylor center fielder, Courtney Moriarty, who is the Trojans' second-best batter on the year at .391 behind Kuzin, who stands at second. 3-1, inside pitch. Swinging and missing is Moriarty, and the count now full at 3-2. That one off speed, looked to be a little bit inside. It might have been good enough for ball number 4. Instead, it's another payoff pitch. Last time Weaver was in this situation, she walked Kuzin. And now she'll walk Moriarty. So first and second for the Trojans, and they'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Hannah Castor, the right fielder.
Now batting number 14, Hannah Castor.
Castor comes in batting just .277 this season, after batting over .300 a year ago in her sophomore campaign. Swings and misses at an inside breaking ball for a foul. Hannah, 5'6" junior from North Vernon, Indiana, and Jennings County High School. First and second here for the Trojans. They trail by 1 in the bottom of the first with 1 gone. Second one from Weaver. That one over the plate but low. Snatching it is Hastings. And the count all square at a ball and a strike. Barry Ely, the coach down there at first for TU. Head coach Brad Bowser, the one calling things over at third base. 1-1 to Castor with runners at first and second. This one comes over the outside half, just at about the knees, and Weaver goes ahead 1-2. Taylor 7-5 here at home this year. Indiana Wesleyan 8-1 on the road. 1-2 from Weaver to the outside part of the plate. Castor was not fooled by that, and the count squares at 2-2. We've seen Weaver do a lot of that here in this bottom of the first. Really trying to entice those Taylor batters to go to anything on the outside half of the plate. 2-2 to Castor. Back to the outside half again, and again, too far away, and Castor's worked the count full. Third time this has happened for Weaver here in the bottom of the first. The first 2 times, those batters walked. They were Kuzin and Moriarty, who now stand at second and first, respectively. 1 gone bottom of the first. Outside again, and Weaver, unhappy with that call, hands extended, palms to the sky, and looks over towards the dugout in frustration as she's just walked the bases full with 1 out. Pitching coach, I believe it's either Evelyn Waymeyer or Lindsay Cripple, come out to talk things over with Weaver and Hastings. But the base is juiced here for the former All-American Davis Carter. So all 3 base runners have reached via the walk here in this bottom of the first for Weaver, who came in with a great strikeout to walk ratio at over 2, and almost even close to 3. Came in 89 strikeouts, just 33 walks. But she's walked 3 batters here alone in the bottom of the first to load them up with 1 out and Taylor down by 1. Carter goes after the first one here, and she'll foul it out of play to the right for a called strike, for a strike on a foul ball, excuse me. Davis is swinging the bat better over as of late, batting .600 in the last 4 games, going 9 for 15. So a great spot here to give Taylor not only their first run of the day, but also put them in front, trailing 1-0. Off speed, this time Weaver will finally catch that outside part of the plate. And it puts Carter down 0-2 with the DP Lauren Kanai on deck. Base is juiced. The pitch from Weaver with 1 out, high and away, and Carter watches it sail to the opposite batter's box. Kuzin at third, Moriarty at second, Castor at first, all after 3-2 walks. 1-2, that one bounces in, covered up by Hastings. And the count levels up at 2-2, and with every pitch out of the zone, the Taylor dugout to our left gets rowdier and rowdier. Indiana Wesleyan in red jerseys, Red Sox, white pants. Taylor in dark gray jerseys and pants. 2-2 to Carter. Ground ball left side, charging. They'll try to turn two. Second there, nope, high throw, and Taylor's tied the game at 1 on an infield single here from Davis, or an infield knock from Davis Carter. Ground ball to Schrad there at second. They get Castor out at second on the force out. And then a high throw from Koistra, the second baseman. And Carter comes darting in. She's safe over at first. It scores the first run of the afternoon for the Trojans on the fielder's choice for Davis Carter. There are 2 outs, but now runners at the corners for Lauren Kenai. Game even at 1, bottom 1. Inside screwball to the righty Kenai for a called strike. So put Moriarty now over at third. And the hot swinging Kenai at the plate. Second one, backdoor screwball will come back over the plate. And Kenai fouls it into the netting softly. She's down 0-2. Taylor head coach Brad Bowser comes in. And I think he's going to want to pinch run for Carter here, it looks like, as that's where he is looking towards. And so Carter will. It'll be number 6, Lindsey Cornell, coming in here to pinch run for TU. Game deadlocked at 1 here as Taylor bats in the bottom of the first. So Cornell at first now, and Moriarty over there at third base. 2 outs, Kenai down 0-2. Weaver deals. Outside part of the plate, she's been working that corner all afternoon here in the bottom of the first. And she's only been able to find the zone a handful of times, if that. Kenai batting 6 for 14 at .429 her last 4 games with 3 home runs and 11 batted in. She'll chase an off-speed one upstairs. And Weaver will get the first strikeout here of the afternoon. Each team puts up 1 in the first inning. We head to the top half of the second. Tied at 1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
All tied at 1 as Indiana Wesleyan comes up to bat for the second time here today. 6, 7, and 8 coming up. Boyer, Hastings, and Eckert. Shaw goes to the screwball away from the lefty Boyer for a ball. 2 hits in that first inning for Indiana Wesleyan. A pair of singles. They can explode at any time. Shaw misses upstairs. It's 2-0 to Boyer. Victoria Boyer, a 5'8 junior from Greenwood, Indiana, and Center Grove High School, so a former teammate of Trojan center fielder Courtney Moriarty. She's a transfer from Palm Beach Atlantic University. Shaw to the outside part of the plate for a called strike. Boyer comes into the day 3 for 4 in her last game. scored 2 runs and tripled. Comes into the day batting .360 with 6 doubles and 6 triples and a single home run. 4th one, thought about it and actually say it finds the upstairs part of the zone as Boyer checked her swing, but Shaw goes up top and evens the count at 2-2. Leadoff batter here, top of the second, game dead even at 1 apiece. 2-2, and just staying alive with a foul tip off the end of the bat is Boyer. Shaw, a winner in her last time out, went 3 innings in the 18-0 win for Taylor on the road at Bethel back on March 30th. She struck out 4 and walked just 1, and gave up just 1 hit on that afternoon. Low and away from Boyer, and she'll chase and stay alive with another foul ball off the end of the bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Boyer leads things off here for the 12th-ranked Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats here in the top half of the second. The pitch, ground ball right side, gets past the diving Tucker. Castor will throw in from right field, but the speedy Boyer out of that right side batter's box darts her way down to first. 3rd hit of the afternoon here for Indiana Wesleyan. And the leadoff batter on for the first time here today. Pull hit there from the lefty Boyer, well placed. That'll bring up the catcher, Emily Hastings, the first righty that Shaw will face here today. Wind blowing from left to right, out towards the scoreboard in right center field. And the first one lifted and foul. .40 degrees today. Wind blowing 10 to 15 miles an hour. Shaw goes back to the outside part of the plate and will miss to even the count to the ball and a strike. Hastings comes in batting just .255, and Shaw will find the outside half of the plate on a curveball to go ahead 1-2. With a runner at first, nobody out, game tied at 1 here in the top half of the second. Taylor comes into the day 5th in the Crossroads League standings with a 7-5 league record. 1-2. Hastings just stays alive, got the very last part of that pitch off the end of the bat, and it remains a ball and 2 strikes. 2 doubles and 2 home runs have made up the 12 hits for Hastings here on the season. Riverside, Illinois, the hometown, a transfer to Iowa from SIU Edwardsville. 5th pitch of the at-bat, 1 ball, 2 strikes, a runner at first and nobody out, top of 2. High and away, Carter will throw down to first, and diving back safely will be Boyer. The count here at home to the catcher Hastings is 2-2. Three hits, all singles for Indiana Wesleyan. But they come in with 66 doubles, 12 triples, and 34 home runs on the season. The 2-2 to Hastings. Thought about it, just misses that outside corner. The Taylor dugout thought that one was going to be good enough for strike number 3, but the outside corner has been tough to come by for both Shaw and and Weaver, the starter for Indiana Wesleyan here through almost a little over our first inning of play. Runner at first, nobody out, payoff pitch. Runner goes, and that one fouled into the netting. Indiana Wesleyan can do just a little bit about of everything offensively. Great power numbers, slugging .544 as a team, but they've also stolen 68 bases and 80 attempts on the year. Another payoff pitch outside, and that'll miss for ball number 4. So the first 2 batters have reached base safely here at the top of the second for Indiana Wesleyan. That brings to the third baseman, Aubrey Eckert. First walk of the afternoon allowed by Shaw. And the go-ahead run at second with our game deadlocked at 1 here, top of 2. Eckert bunts right back up the middle, fielded by the third baseman Wilson. The sacrifice run to perfection as Tucker covers first base. As Eckert's teammates come out to congratulate her out of the dugout to our right. So move Boyer up to third, Hastings up to second with 1 out and runners in prime scoring position for the number 9 batter, Rebecca Schrad, the shortstop. Schrad, the freshman from Brownsburg, Indiana. Curveball misses away. Ball 1 to the shortstop. Schrad comes in batting .315 in her freshman season. Slugging .517 with 3 doubles and 5 home runs. She's driven in 18 runs this year and has runners at second and third right here in the top of the second. We're tied at 1 between number 12 Indiana Wesleyan and unranked Taylor. A single through the right side of the infield for Boyer and a walk to Hastings got them on base. A sacrifice bunt has moved them up to second and third. Schrad will foul it in a low inside pitch to the protective netting to our right. It was sunny here earlier today, but the sun has now gone behind the many clouds overhead. And when our second game will get underway around 6 o'clock, that game will be quite chilly for those sitting out in the elements. 2-1 to Schrad. Outside half of the plate called for strike number 2. And we talked about it. Shaw and Weaver, the 2 pitchers here this afternoon, have struggled to find the outside half of the plate to right-handed batters here today. Shaw finds it there and levels the count at 2-2. A big opportunity here with 1 out. The game tied at 1, top of the second, and runners at second and third. And she gets her to pop up to the infield. Kozad, the first baseman, in, and she'll make the catch just to the right of the circle. Shaw thought about coming over and then wisely stayed inside the circle, let Kozad catch it. And a big infield pop out there for Shaw on Schrad. 2 outs here in the top half of the second. With the runner still at second and third, and back to the top of the order we go, and Lauren Buckley.
Number 2, Lauren Buckley.
This time to the outside half of the plate to Buckley from Shaw, and it's called for a strike. Buckley 0 for 1 today. Remember, she had a ball as she was already outside the box trying to slap her way on, and I think I just figured out why IWU head coach Steve Babinski was pointing something out after she was called out. If you just notice when Buckley walked up here for the second at bat, she puts the end of her bat into the dirt well outside, about a foot outside the batter's box, and I think that's what Coach Babinski might have been trying to point out to our home plate umpire, Keith Poinier, instead of having it being a cleat mark, saying it was just where she puts her bat. Third pitch lined foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third, game tied at 1. A 2-out single drove in the only run of the afternoon for Indiana Wesleyan an inning ago. Shaw trying to get out of here with no damage done. A half-check swing, liner foul to the end of the Taylor dugout. Buckley batting .320 on the year. The lefty against the right-hander throwing Shaw. She checks a look at the wristband on her left forearm and deals home another 1-2. Breaking ball away from the lefty Buckley. Makes it 2-2 as Buckley tried to slap her way on. Victoria Boyer led this inning off with a single through the right side of the infield. She stands at third. Hastings followed her. She now stands at second after the sacrifice bunt and a pop out to the infield. 2-2 ground ball that will bounce off a home plate and roll foul. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here the top half of the second inning for Indiana Wesleyan, the 12th ranked team in the land. Shaw deals. And that one high, and the count all full, 3-2. Buckley 13 walks on the year. Shaw still in search of that first strike out of the afternoon. 3-2, 1 hopper. That gets underneath the glove of the kneeling Kuznets short. And another 2-out infield knock, I should say, for Indiana Wesleyan. Scores their second run of the afternoon. That's the second time we've seen Kuzin have difficulty over there at short, and that will go down as an error against her. And Indiana Wesleyan out front now, 2-1. So first and third, 2 outs. Low and away from the lefty Madel for ball 1. For that last knock, Madel was the only run of the afternoon for Indiana Wesleyan as the outfield plays back near the warning track. Second one, lined into the netting, 1-1. So Buckley at third, or excuse me, Hastings at third on the Buckley knock. On the Madels single, remember off the end of Kuzin's glove there, a short ground ball snagged right out of the air by the pitcher, Shaw. She'll turn to first and limit the damage to just one here in the top half of the second. We'll see if Taylor can have the answer here in the bottom of the second, just like they did in the top half, in the bottom half of the first. This is Taylor softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. The Taylor University campus store, with their innovative textbook butler delivery service and name brand Taylor apparel and gifts, supports the Trojans year-round. The campus store, powered by Tree of Life Books, is a proud corporate partner of TU Athletics. It's easy to find something to show off someone's TU pride with 2 campus locations, one in the Dome and one in the campus center near the food court. The store is also open 24/7 at TaylorCampusStore.com.
Now batting number 27, Taylor Wilson.
So Taylor trails by 1 as they bat for the second time here today. The bottom third of their order coming up here in Taylor Wilson, Aaron Kozad, and Olivia Hostetler. They're down 2-1 are the Trojans, but they had the answer there in the bottom of the first. We'll see if they can duplicate here in the home half of the second. Second pitch floats in on the outside part of the plate to the righty Wilson, and it makes it 1-1. Taylor's been in a slump recently, came in at the start of the season batting well over 400 and close to 500 at some points early on. She's now batting just .283. Just 1 hit in her last 4 games. She's ahead 2-1 here. She leads off the bottom half of the second. Her team trailing by 1. And Weaver misses upstairs, 3-1. Indiana Wesleyan coming off of their best season in program history, a team best 47 wins a year ago, also their first trip to the NAIA College World Series. 3-1 to Wilson. Low and away. 4th walk allowed today from Weaver. As you mentioned, came in at over a strikeout to walk ratio of well over 2. But she has 4 walks and only 1 strikeout today, and that is what got her in trouble there in the bottom half of the first. All 3 base runners for Taylor all walked in that bottom of the first to load them up. They have yet to record a hit here today. And that first one to Kozad high and away. To get back to the success for Indiana Wesleyan a year ago. Again, mentioned the program best 47 wins. Made it to the College World Series for the first time in program history. Second one to Kozad. Rips that one, but well in front of it, and it goes screaming foul. But they're going to have to do all of this year. They're already at 30 wins, which is an accomplishment in itself. But you factor that in when they graduated arguably their best pitcher and arguably their best bat. And Casey Carson, a first-team All-American and last year's Crossroads League Player of the Year from last year's roster. 1-1 curveball misses the outside corner to the righty Kozad. That's count is in her favor right now, 2-1. But Weaver stepped up and replaced her beautifully. Danielle Munn, who has a sub-1 ERA, used more of a relief role. They picked up the beautiful float pitch in there from Weaver. Loops in there to make it 2-2. But you have Weaver, you have Munn, and then you have the presumed starter in game number 2, Mackenzie Ridge. It's been a group effort to replace Carson. They've done so very, very well. 2-2, and that will get a swing and a miss to Kozad as Weaver goes back to that float pitch. 2 pitches in a row Kozad sat on it and just swung a hair too early, and she was out in front of it for the second strikeout of the day for Carly Weaver. And there's one gone for TU here in the bottom of the second.
Now batting number 22, Olivia Hostetler.
Hostetler, the only lefty bat for the Trojans. She'll try to bunt her way on, misses. As Wilson dancing off of first. A good cover there by Koistra, the second baseman, with the corner infielders coming crashing in. So an interesting contrasted lineups today. We mentioned how the first 6 batters for the IWU lineup all lefties. The Trojans only lefty right here at left fielder Olivia Hostetler. Should bunt her first time up, and now she's down 0-2 as Weaver goes to the outside corner. She got Kozad out on a swinging strike on back-to-back float pitches. We'll see if she wants to deal it here to Hostetler. Wilson, the runner at first after a leadoff walk. Taylor down 2-1. And back to the side part of the plate. Weaver trying to entice the Taylor batters to chase, and they have not abided here yet this afternoon. A ball and 2 strikes to Olivia Hostetler. Tying run over there at first, and she'll stay alive, fouling that one up into the screen. Cassie Kuzin waits on deck for TU as they trail number 12 Indiana Wesleyan 2-1 here in the bottom of the second inning. One gone, runner at first. Weaver delivers, and Hostetler sat on that changeup. It zipped, it floated right in there, right at about the knees. Hostetler thought it was outside the zone instead. That's back-to-back strikeouts here for Weaver. And a good battle back from her after allowing that leadoff walk. She had trouble finding the zone in the bottom of the first. Has not shown any problems here in the bottom half of the second, as they'll bring up Cassie Kuzin with 2 outs and the tying run at first. Kuzin first pitch attacks and fouls it up and out. Kuzin walked and scored her first time up. She tries to tie the game here in the bottom of the second with 2 outs. Back to that slow moving off speed pitch. This time it's low and away from the righty Kuzin to make the count to ball on a strike. No hits yet on the afternoon for the Trojans. All of their base runners have reached via 4 walks. 1-1, Kuzin swings and misses. Wilson dancing off of first, and the throw got away from Exposito, the first baseman, but it went off the lower right leg of Taylor Wilson as she rubs her right calf. The throw from Exposito, or from Hastings to Exposito, got away from her, but it careened off the leg of Wilson. And now she'll take a walk up the foul line behind first base, trying to walk that one off. Exposito missed the catch, and it hit Wilson in the lower right leg. That's what prevented the ball from rolling into the right field grass. Count to Kuzin at the plate is a ball and 2 strikes. Wilson a tying run over there at first as Taylor bats here in the bottom half of the second. Back-to-back strikeouts from Weaver after walking the leadoff batter Wilson. Weaver ahead 1-2 to Kuzin, and she fires a rise ball that Kuzin sits on to make the count 2-2. Cassie, the Trojans' best bat at .429. Tied with Courtney Moriarty for the most hits on the team with 27. She leads the Crossroads League at slugging 1.016. Inside pitch. And freeze Kuzin. 3 straight strikeouts there for Carly Weaver to end the bottom of the second after allowing a leadoff walk. We are to the top of the third with Indiana Wesleyan out front 2-1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Part of the order up here for Indiana Wesleyan as they bat with the lead for the first time today. Third. Designated player Alex Springer, followed by Kristen Exposito and Kelsey Koistra. Inside to Tucker, fields the knee, quickly gets it out of the and there's one out here at the bottom of the third, or top of the third, excuse me, for Indiana Wesleyan. Tucker described by Taylor head coach Brad Bowser as having one of the best transitions to get the ball out of her glove that he's ever seen. So one out, no one on for Kristen Exposito. Shaw doing her best to keep it away from this week's Crossroads League Player of the Week. And the first one a ball. The lefty Exposito with an RBI single, her first time at the dish. And a screwball below the knees and away. 2-0 to Kristen Exposito. From Davie, Florida, transferred in from Pembroke Pines, or excuse me, from Miami-Dade Community College, went to Pembroke Pines Charter High School. Now she's had 3-0 as Shaw has thrown her 3 straight screwballs away. Exposito batted 5, went 5 for 10 last week. It'll be a 4-pitch walk here from Shaw. Exposito also drew 5 walks last week as well. Second walk allowed by Shaw today. And Exposito will be pinch ran for here over at first. It'll be number 37, Paige Creasy, the one coming in to pinch run. So Paige Creasy will pinch run over there at first for Exposito. It'll be Kelsey Koistra batting for the second time today. Creasy, a 5'11 freshman. Playing in her 29th game, is 1 for 1 on stolen bases this year. She will fake going as Shaw throws on a worm burner, low and away from the lefty Koistra. A leadoff ground out from Springer. Then a walk to Exposito. Creasy running for her over at first. 2-1 the Iwu lead as they bat top of the third. Swing and a miss from Koistra. She tried to slap her way on. And the count back to even at 1-1. Koistra 0 for 1 today, tried to bunt her way on. That ended things at the top of the first. Bunted it back to Shaw in the circle. Little soft half check liner lands into short left center field. The Trojans had a shift on with Moriarty shading more to her left, or our left and her right more than she normally would. But a little check swing there from Koistra drops right in there where to no man's land in short left center field. And they're first and second here for Indiana Wesleyan on their 5th hit of the day with 1 out. So 2 on for Victoria Boyer, the right fielder. Back across the right half, or inside half of the plate, excuse me. And it's a called strike to the right fielder, Boyer. Singleton scored her first time up. That was an inning ago in the second. 2-1 the Indiana Wesleyan lead with runners at first and second. And 1 out top of the third. Ground ball right back. Shaw will try to turn 2 over to third. Wilson back across the diamond to first. They won't get Boyer out in time, but they get the lead runner out at third. Good job by Shaw there in the circle. Fielder's choice for Boyer, still first and second, but 2 outs here in the top of the third for the visitors. Two outs, 2 on for the catcher, Emily Hastings. And the curveball from Shaw, and again, just like she's missed with Weaver on the other side for Indiana Wesleyan, the outside part of the plate to righties has not been kind to our 2 starting pitchers here this afternoon. A ball to Hastings. Back to the outside part, down to first. Kozet with a tag, and Taylor's dugout thought that Kozet had the tag back in time on Boyer, who just slid back in by a hair. A great awareness and great throw there by Carter behind the plate. The count even at a ball and a strike to the Iwu catcher Hastings. As they try to build on their 2-1 lead here with 2 outs, top of 3. Change up, liner into the center field gap, and that should drive in the runner from second. Throw from Moriarty over Shaw's head. It goes off of her glove and will be snagged by Carter between the circle and home plate. Another single run comes home here for Indiana Wesleyan, and their 3rd one today, all coming with 2 outs on the board. This time it's an RBI single for Emily Hastings to center field, and their 1st and 3rd, and 1 more run home here for Iwu. So a pinch hitter here for Aubrey Eckerts. It'll be number 20. That will be Sydney Lowe. Lowe, a 5'7" freshman from Brownsburg, Indiana. Comes in batting .423 with 8 runs batted in. She's got runners at 1st and 3rd here, 2 outs. Fastball from Shaw, low at the ankles. That's a ball. Boyer at 3rd. Hastings, after her RBI single, stands at 1st. Carter tried to pull a curveball back over to the plate, but it's 2-0 to the pinch hitter Lowe. 6 hits on the afternoon for Indiana Wesleyan, 3 runs, all single tallies in each of our first 3 innings. Screwball inside half. Lowe was backing away. It's called for a strike, 2-1. All three RBI hits today have all come with 2 outs for Indiana Wesleyan as well. 2-1 to the pinch hitter Lowe. Screwball inside. She'll foul this one off. Evens it up at 2-2. With runners at 1st and 3rd in Indiana Wesleyan leading by their largest margin today. They're up by 2, 3-1. Shaw still looking for that first strikeout today. And that one missing on the outside corner, and that brought Taylor head coach Brad Bowser and pitching coach King Lumpkin a couple steps out of the dugout in disbelief. Count all full 3-2. That outside corner is still tough for folks to find this afternoon. Payoff pitch, screwball inside. That one lined into the Taylor dugout. Quick agility there by pitching coach King Lumpkin. And the count remains full to the pinch hitter Sydney Lowe. 3rd 2-out hit. Drove in a run in the last 3 tries for Indiana Wesleyan. And they lead 3-1 here at the top of the 3rd with 6 hits. Foul ball from Lowe the last time. She pinch hits here for the 3rd baseman Aubrey Eckerts. Another 3-2. Off speed and high. That will be the 3rd walk allowed by Darby Shaw today. And the base is full here for Rebecca Schrad, the shortstop. And Aubrey Eckert will re-enter and run for Lowe over there at first. So Rebecca Schrad popped out to the first baseman Kozad her first time up. And that came with the bases loaded. First one came with runners at 2nd and 3rd and only 1 out. She bats the bases full here, 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. Shaw's curveball high and away, 1-0. 3-1, the Indiana Wesleyan lead. They bat with the bases full here in the top of the 3rd. Second one from Shaw. Lifted into the air by Schrad, and it sails out of play. Schrad, a 5'9" freshman, came into the day batting .315. Slugging .517 out of that number 9 batter spot here this afternoon in Game 1. Has her red hoodie sticking out of the back of her gray fleece pullover. 1-1 right at the knees. And now Taylor head pitching coach King Lumpkin takes a couple more steps out of the dugout and looks down to Keith Poinier's way at home plate in frustration. Two balls and a strike to Schrad. She bats with 2 outs and the bases full. That one comes inside, gets away from Carter. Runner trying to score from third. Backhand throw from Carter. Squirts out of Shaw's glove, and scoring from third base will be Victoria Boyer on the wild pitch. And there is a 4-1 lead for Indiana Wesleyan, but without a great play attempt there by Carter to hustle after the ball. She squirted away, got away from her, and then she backhand flipped it there over to home plate. Three balls and a strike to Schrad. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. And they get Schrad to pop up. Castor chasing it right field side, and she'll make an over-the-shoulder catch. Just inside the right field foul line. First, Wesleyan has put up 2 in the top third, and they lead 3. This is ball here on the Sports Network.
Since opening in the late 1980s, the Maddox Family Dental Center has been focusing on providing the highest quality dental care for their patients. Children to adults can receive a full-service treatment to meet their dental needs. The Maddox Family Dental Center has 2 locations in Hartford City and Dunkirk and always welcomes new patients. The Maddox Family Dental Center, a proud corporate partner of Taylor University Athletics. Taylor trailing by their widest margin today as they bat here in the bottom of the third. Tucker, Moriarty, and Castor 2, 3, and 4. Coming up here to face Weaver. She throws the backdoor screwball, the backdoor curveball to Tucker for a called strike. Taylor trailing 4-1 here in the bottom of the third. First time they trailed by more than a single run here today, as I would put up 2 there in the top of the third inning. Float gets away from Weaver. Away from the righty Tucker to make it 1-1. Kara batting for the second time. She laid down a sacrifice bunt her first time up. That was in the bottom of the first inning. Third one from Weaver. Back across the heart of the plate. And just getting a piece of it's Tucker. And it's 1-2. Tucker has climbed up the batting order for the Trojans here in the last few weeks. She was batting out of that number 8 spot for most of her freshman season this year, but batted out of the 2 spot in that sweep of Bethel back on March 30th, the last time Taylor's played until today. They get her to pop one up to the infield. The shortstop Schrad is there to make the catch, and there's one gone.
Number 5, Courtney Moriarty.
1 out, no one on for the center fielder, Courtney Moriarty. Off speed, she'll send this one towards left field. Lauren Buckley comes in. She'll make a basket catch right at about the left hip. And there are quickly 2 outs for Taylor here in the bottom of the third. So it'll be Hannah Castor trying to keep the bottom of the third rolling here for the Trojans, as they still look for their first hit here of the afternoon.
Number 14, Hannah Castor.
And the first one sails in high for a ball to Castor. She walked her first time up, as Weaver walked 3 batters there in the the bottom of the first. Since then, she's walked just 1 and struck out 3. Castor goes after 1 low. And fouls out of play to the right, 1-1. Hannah comes into the day batting .277, 18 hits, 3 doubles, and 3 home runs. She's one of 5 Trojans to drive in more than 10 runs this season. They need base runners here, down by 3 in the bottom of the third. And that one gets away from the righty Weaver to make it 2-1. The catcher, Davis Carter, waits on deck. Fourth one to Castor. Off speed, the bottom drops out right before it gets to Castor's knees, and it's ball number 3. First game of the doubleheader here today. Castor ahead 3-1 with 2 outs. Taylor down by 3, bottom of the third. Back across the middle of the plate. Ground ball left side. Sherrod will field. Throw on the run. And there's the first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon here for Indiana Wesleyan and their starter, Carly Weaver. We've played 3 here from Goodekoon's Field. It's IWU 4, Taylor 1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. New pitcher in for the Trojans. It is the freshman right-hander, 5'4", Ashley Roberts, out of Atlanta, Indiana. Ashley appearing in just her 4th game in the circle this season. She has thrown in 6 1/3 her way to first base. Wesleyan backer into the lefty. Buckley tries to slap her way on. It's 1-1. And that only appearance against the Wildcats earlier this year. Roberts went 3 innings, 1 strikeout, 3 walks, no runs, and a hit. No decision for Roberts. To the outside part of the plate, and the lefty Buckley, and that one will miss. Make it 2-1. As Brianna Tregesser gets some warm-up cuts in the bullpen to our right. Lauren Kanai with the DP for TU will do the same in one of the hitting cages to our left. 2 balls and a strike to Lauren Buckley as the top of the order up for Indiana Wesleyan. They're up by 3 in the top of the 4th. Shaw misses with a changeup away, and she's back. She's behind 3-1 to Buckley. Buckley 1 for 2 today. An RBI single back in the second. Put Indiana Wesleyan back in front 2-1. 5th pitch, and the rise ball will miss, and there's the first walk allowed by Roberts, and the leadoff batter on. Here for just the 2nd time today for Indiana Wesleyan.
Number 19, Kira Madel.
That'll bring up Kira Madel, the center fielder. Again, Indiana Wesleyan will trot out 6 straight lefties in their order, as Roberts has to face the top of the order here coming in off the bench here in the top of the 4th. Madel 1 for 2 today. And the fastball low and away from Madel for a ball. The starter, Darby Shaw, went 3 innings, allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned. She walked 3, did not record a strikeout, and threw 73 pitches in her 3 innings of work. Taylor down 4-1. IWU bats her top of the 4th. The second one Lined out a play to the left by the lefty Madel to make it 1-1. Madel, the 5'7" junior from St. John, Indiana, was homeschooled and then transferred in from Olivet Nazarene University. Shows the bunt late, she'll miss, and she's down 1-2. Alex Springer, the DP, waits on deck. One of the best bats in the Crossroads League. 1-2 from Roberts. Ground ball right side. That one gets between Kozad and Tucker. They'll wave the runner around from first. Castor comes up throwing a one-hop dart from right. But on her horse was Buckley. She advances from first to third on the pulled single from Madel through the right side. As Tucker, it pulled Tucker. She was going to follow Buckley on the hit and run towards second, and it went right to where Tucker had left. Second hit of the afternoon for Kira Madel. And they were first and third here for the DP, Alex Springer, who's still in search of her first hit here this afternoon. Low and away, runner goes down to second. Carter throws, Kuzin with the tag, and she is out at second base. Great throw there from Carter. Madel tried to steal. That's the first time Madel's been thrown out on a stolen base attempt this season. Came into today 7 for 7. She's now 7 for 8 as Carter guns her down at second. A ball to Springer. Rips it right side. That one gets underneath the glove of Kozad. It'll be an infield single as Springer jogs down to first. Her first hit of the afternoon will drive in the 5th run of the day for Indiana Wesleyan. They're up 5-1 here with one out in the top of the 4th. And it looks like Springer will be pinch ran for over there at first. Oh, no, they'll re-enter Exposito, because Creasy. Nope. They had to have already. Yeah, that's the wrong signal from a home plate umpire. No, they would have had to have re-entered Exposito already because she fielded things in the bottom of the 3rd. Okay, so they re-entered her twice. Oh, it's good to make sure we have everything squared away. That's good. So Springer over there at first. She will not be pinch ran for. Exposito will lift this one to center. At the track is Moriarty, and that one clears a left center field fence. Exposito with a 2-run homer, and that gives Indiana Wesleyan a 7-1 lead here in the top of the 4th with only one out. For Exposito, she continues her hot play. Was 5 for 10 last week with 3 home runs. Now belts her 4th home run in a little bit over a week. Her 13th blast of the year, and it's 7-1 Indiana Wesleyan here at the top of the 4th with only one gone.
Now batting number 1, Kelsey Koisha.
It took a while for Indiana Wesleyan to get going, but they have lit things up. They were held limited to just a single run in the 1st and the 2nd. They've scored 5 in the last 2 innings combined with still some time to go here with only one gone in the top of the 4th. A strike to Kelsey Koistra. As she is 1 for 2 today. Second one from the freshman Roberts. A late bunt attempt from Koistra, and she's down 0-2 as she misses. Trying to get the end of the bat on there as well. 8 hits today for Indiana Wesleyan. 3 in a row. Here in the 4th, their only out was when Madel tried to steal second and Carter caught her. A little half punch up into the net. Still 0-2 to Koistra. Check swing back to Roberts in the circle, over to first, and they get the speedy Koistra out at first for out number 2 here in the 4th inning. So 2 outs, nobody on for the right fielder Victoria Boyer. But Indiana Wesleyan's blown this one open. They're up by 6. 3 runs home here at the top of the 4th. They're up 7-1. Well, on 8 hits, Taylor still has yet to find their first hit of the afternoon. Fastball from Roberts, low and away to the lefty Boyer for a ball. Boyer has scored 2 runs today. She's reached base safely twice as she bats for the 3rd time. Second one from Roberts, ground ball. That will be snagged off the dirt by Tucker. Over to first to end things here at the top of the 4th, but Wesleyan tacks on 3 runs at the top of the 4th. They lead 7-1 as Taylor will look for their first run since the first time they batted here this afternoon. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Taylor's still looking for that first hit today. They need it in the worst way possible, down by 6 here in the bottom of the 4th. After a rough bottom of the 1st for IWU starter Carly Weaver, where she walked 3 batters, she walked Taylor Wilson to start things in the top of the 2nd. She's retired the last 6 batters in a row, including 3 via the strikeout. Carter, Kanai, and Wilson will try to get Taylor on the right side of things here as they try to come back here in the bottom of the 4th. First one fouled away by Carter. The second one right at the knees, but like it's been all afternoon, a struggle to find the outside part of the plate to right-handed batters for our starting pitchers, or any of our pitchers, period. And the count evens at 1-1. Davis reached on a fielder's choice, her first time up. They'll go to pop up to the infield. Koister comes in from second, makes a basket catch at the waist. And there's the 7th straight batter retired by Carly Weaver here this afternoon. One gone for TU, bottom of the 4th for Lauren Kanai, the DP. Kanai came in the best recent handful of games at the plate in her young career. Came into the day batting .429 with 3 home runs and 11 batted in her last 4 games, including home runs in her last 2 games. She's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout to Weaver. That came back in the 1st. The count evens at 1-1 as Kanai chases one high and inside. Nobody on, 1 out, bottom of the 4th. And a swing and a miss. They're making a foul tip, from Kanai, and she's down 1-2. Taylor looking for answers here in the worst way possible. Kanai entered the day batting .342. And she waits the 1-2 from Weaver. And that one well outside to make it 2-2. First game of the doubleheader. Second one will come up around 6 o'clock. As Taylor bats here in the bottom of the 4th. 1 out, no one on. Taylor trailing by 6. Still looking for that first hit. And down the middle, Kanai goes down on strikes for the 2nd time today. 4th K overall for Weaver. And she's now retired 8 straight batters. 2 outs for Taylor Wilson here at the bottom of the 4th. Wilson, the last player to reach against Weaver. That wasn't a walk to lead things off in the bottom of the 2nd. At that point, it was the 4th walk of the day to just 1 strikeout for Weaver. She's now struck out 4 batters. She gets Wilson to swing and miss at one inside to make it 1-1. And Weaver's retired, as we mentioned, 8 in a row. Her teammates have given her plenty of cushion to work with Wesleyan leading by 6 here in the bottom of the 4th. Curveball well outside the plate. 2-1 to Taylor Wilson. Two and one to the third baseman for Taylor Wilson. And she'll line one that was low. Catch at the very end of the netting to our right to make it 2-2 on a foul ball. One of the Indiana Wesleyan players getting some work on a batting tee in the cages to our right. 2-2 to Wilson with 2 outs. That one well upstairs. Wilson sits back and the count now full. The first 3 walks allowed by Weaver on the day all came on 3-2 pitches. Then the last one to Wilson, who bats here, was on a 3-1 offering. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th, the 3-2 to Wilson. She'll swing and miss inside. And there's the 5th strikeout of the day for Weaver. She's now retired 9 batters in a row. His way to the top of the 5th. Indiana Wesleyan out front 7-1. Top of the 5th, the Indiana Wesleyan offense hot right now. They're up 7-1. They've scored 5 runs their last 2 times at the plate. They've scored at least 1 run their first 4 times up here today. The first one from Roberts to Hastings in there for a strike. Hastings 1 for 1 with a walk. An RBI single her last time up. Second one from Roberts off the end of the bat. Castor tracking it. That'll land past her and roll to the fence. Hastings hustling around to second. She'll get in there standing up. Second extra base hit of the afternoon for Indiana Wesleyan. It's a leadoff double for Emily Hastings, her 3rd double of the season. And a runner in scoring position here for the Wildcats. They're up 7-1 here at the top of the 5th. As that one just got away from Hannah Castor in the right center field gap. So Aubrey Eckert will bat for the second time today, trying to bunt. And she'll punch it into the dirt for a foul. Eckert laid down a sacrifice bunt, her only time at the dish here this afternoon. Hastings over there at second. A strike with nobody out. A full swing this time from Hastings, and she'll foul it up and away. She's down 0-2. Taylor was able to tie the game at 1 there in the bottom of the 1st, but since then it has been all Indiana Wesleyan. The 0-2. Outside half of the plate, ringer up. First strikeout of the day, and for the first time, I think all day as well, and any one of our pitchers has been able to find a called strike there on the outside half of the plate to a right-handed batter. 1 gone, top of the 5th for Indiana Wesleyan. Rebecca Schrad, the shortstop. With the leadoff batter, Hastings, standing at second after the double. Lined out to play to the right, and that almost hit one of her teammates. A casual walk for whom? Kaylin Rosen walking out of that cage, and then almost had that thing drilled her right in the forehead. I'll take a year off your life or so. She's okay. She dodged it, and she still trying to catch her breath as she walks back to her own dugout. Punching it high is Schrad, fielded by Roberts over to first quickly. Good cover there by Tucker on a very late sacrifice bunt there from Schrad. She took one that was above her head and punched it down to the dirt. And it moves Hastings over to third here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. And this is where Indiana Wesleyan has done most of their damage here today with 2 outs. Before that 4th inning, all 4 of their first 4 runs all came with 2 outs. This one a wild pitch. Carter picks it up. She can't field it in time, and Hastings will score from third on the second wild pitch of the afternoon by a Taylor pitcher, excuse me. Makes it 8-1 Indiana Wesleyan. So nobody on, a ball to the top of the order, and Lauren Buckley. Ground ball right side. Tucker will charge. Field quickly gets it out of the glove, and there's out number 3. But now before Indiana Wesleyan puts up one more run, they've scored at least 1 run, and all 5 times have been to the plate today. They lead 8-1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th as the Trojans look for their first hit here of the afternoon. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. Eight, 9, and 1 coming up for Taylor here in the bottom of the 5th as they still are in search of that first hit here of the afternoon. They need anything and everything to try to get on base as they trail 8-1 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Kozad, Hosteller, then back to the top, and Cassie Kuzin. Weaver, after struggling there in the bottom of the 1st at times, has allowed just 1 base runner in the last 3 innings, retiring 9 straight. She starts with the changeup inside to Kozad for a called strike. Aaron 0 for 1 today, struck out swinging. The last 2 strikes were on 2 dangerously slow-moving pitches there from Weaver. And that one outside, 1-1. Third one to Kozad. Lifts it, foul in front of her own dugout. Another slow-moving changeup there from Weaver. Through back-to-back float pitches to Kozad. The second one she was looking for just swung a little bit too early. She's behind 1-2 here. And that one low and away, slow-moving as well. In the dirt to make it 2-2. Weaver has retired 9 batters in a row, and that'll make it 10. On the drop, 3rd strike from Hastings. 6th strikeout of the day for Weaver. She walked 3 batters in that bottom of the 1st. Since then, she has struck out 6 and walked just 1. That's her 10th straight batter retired. 1 gone for Hostetler here at the bottom of the 5th.
Now batting number 22, Olivia Hostetler.
Hostetler goes after the first one here. Will softly foul it out of play to our left. Olivia struck out swinging, her only time up today. That was in the bottom half of the 2nd. Kuzin waits on deck. Second one to Hostetler, the only lefty in the Trojan batting order here in game number 1. And the off-speed pitch will find the outside half to make it 0-2. Olivia enters the day batting .269. That one all the way in the opposite batter's box. 1 ball, 2 strikes for the Taylor left fielder. Nobody on, 1 out. Weaver dealing right now. She's ahead 1-2. Outside half. Still was 1-2 on a good contact. That'll be number 17, Sydney Williams.
Now batting number 17, Sydney Williams.
And Exposito over there at first. This one lifted into left. Hosseller comes in. That'll fall in front of her. She'll throw it into third. They will get the runner out there at third base. But scoring from third will be Madel. So we'll go down as a single for Sydney Williams. So she will get credit for the RBI. Madel scores from third. That makes it 9-1 Indiana Wesleyan. With 1 out. And second and third. Exposito there at second. And Williams, the pinch hitter, is over there at first. This one a liner over Kuzin at short by Victoria Boyer. They'll hold Exposito up at third. And the 4th hit of this inning will load him up once again, and that will bring Ashley Roberts' afternoon to a close in the circle. The Trojans will bring in Jessica Doctor, second time that she'll face Indiana Wesleyan today as Kelsey Koister goes sprinting out of the dugout to go re-enter and run at second base. We'll reset everything when we come back as Jessica Doctor gets warmed up. Jessica Doctor in, third pitcher used by the Trojans here today. As Doctor just needed a couple pitches and she's ready to go. She'll face Emily Hastings, the catcher, who's reached base safely all 3 times she's been to the plate here so far today. She bats the bases full. Koister has re-entered and she runs at second. Exposito's at third, and Victoria Boyer is over at first. 1-1 to Hastings. Doctor, a 3.50 ERA. 6th appearance overall. Ground ball, those goes off the heel of the glove of Kuzin. Exposito will score easily from third. Another RBI single for Emily Hastings, her second of the day. And that makes it 10-1 Indiana Wesleyan with the bases still full. And only 1 out here at the top of the 6th. First pitch swung by Aubrey Eckert and fouled out of play to the right. Eckert 0 for 2 today, or 0 for 2 today. Or 0 for 1, excuse me, a sacrifice bunt in the second, and she struck out in the 5th. Second pitch from Jessica Doctor, 5'5" freshman from Brownsburg. Swing and a miss from Eckert, the Huntington, Indiana native, and she falls behind 1-2. Bases full, Koister at third, Boyer at second, Hastings over there at first. 14 hits for Indiana Wesleyan here, 10 runs on the board so far. They've scored 2 here in the 6th. With 5 hits already in the inning, as Boyer takes a healthy lead off of second base. Count evens up 2-2 to Aubrey Eckert. 1 out, bases juiced. Top of the 6th. Breaking ball from Doctor, missing away. The count now full 3-2 with nowhere to put Aubrey Eckert. Inside, ringer up. Screwball inside there from Doctor, well thrown. Second strikeout of the day for a Trojan pitcher. First one from Doctor. And there are 2 outs for Rebecca Schrad. Second time that Aubrey Eckert has struck out looking here today. Change up from Doctor in the dirt for a ball. Schrad batting for the 4th time. She's 0 for 2. With a pop out and a fly out. Had a sacrifice bunt her last time up. Doctor misses low in the dirt, 2-0. Wind blowing out towards right center field. Bases full, 2 outs. And they get Schrad to lift this one up. Moriarty going back in front of the warning track. Takes another step over to her left. And makes the catch for out number 3. The Trojans need some runs here. They're down by 9. In danger of being run ruled here after the bottom of the 6th. They're down 10-1. This is Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network. New pitcher in. Surprising move here from head coach Steve Babinski as the starter Carly Weaver had retired 12 batters in a row. They'll bring in arguably their best pitcher statistics-wise, Danielle Munn, the 5'10 sophomore from Whiteland, Indiana. A 5-0 overall record, a 0.79 ERA, appearing in her 19th contest, and she's only made 2 starts, so used to coming out of the bullpen. Powerful lefty, missed the first one low, and she's got a lot of power behind that left hand. It's 1-1 to Kara Tucker. So Weaver goes 5 innings, allows just 1 run, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, and no hits. 1-1 from Munn. Tucker will line this one up and line it, and it goes out of the glove of Lauren Buckley. as Tucker sat back on the heat from Munn and roped that one to left field. That one falls out of the glove of Lauren Buckley. And for the Taylor Trojans, that's their first base runner here since the second inning, and it breaks up the no-hit bid. Oh, if you're Weaver, you got to just be sick in the dugout. You'd been cruising all day, and then Munn comes in and throws the heat, and Tucker ropes that one to left. Weaver is going to make that. Moriarty misses high. She's down 0-1 to Munn. Moriarty 0 for 2 today. Off speed from the lefty, Munn finds the outside half to make it 0-2. Courtney walked her first time up, then flew out to left field, and Buckley her last time at the dish. Tucker breaks up the combined no-hit bid between Weaver and Munn. She stands at first, and now Moriarty will rope one to the left field corner, but was too far in front of it and pulls it foul. Weaver had retired 12 batters in a row, including 4 straight strikeouts at one point. And they bring in Munn, and the first batter she sees, Tucker, on the third pitch, lines up a fastball and smokes it to left field. Popped out of the glove of Buckley, goes down for a hit. 0-2 to Moriarty, low and away, and she'll stay alive, fouling it out of play to the right. One other change, Hannah Eiler has come in. She plays first base, replacing Kristen Exposito. And it looks like there might be a new center fielder as well, but we weren't notified of it. Still 0-2 to Courtney Moriarty. Liner, and that's back-to-back hits for the Trojans. They bring in the hard-throwing Munn, and the Trojans can do a lot better against a hard thrower. Weaver, remember, had a couple of that float pitches a couple times that really just fooled Taylor all for the last handful of innings. But 2 batters and 2 hits for TU. Moriarty following Tucker. And now bring up Hannah Castor, as Hastings comes out to have a chat with Danielle Munn. Not Olivia Munn, that's an actress. If she was here pitching, that would be also newsworthy as well. But Taylor down by 9 here in the bottom, or down by 9 in the bottom of the 6th. They need 2 runs to keep this game going. Taylor been no hit through 5. First 2 batters here in the 6th get hits. And the first one to Castor, belt high, taken for a strike. Hannah 0 for 1 today, batting for the second time. Tucker at second, Moriarty over there at first. Castor choking up a little bit on that white bat. Second one from Munn, ground ball. Munn will knock it down. She'll charge over to third, throw one low, but Eckert able to snag it for out number 1. Keep the runners at first and second for the fielder's choice for Hannah Castor. And that'll bring up Davis Carter, the catcher.
Now batting number 10, Davis Carter.
So it's now Moriarty at second and Castor over at first. Taylor still down 9, and Carter will smoke this one, but she was well in front of it and pulls it foul on a well-struck foul ball. Davis brought in the only run of the day on a fielder's choice for TU back there in the first, as Kuzin scored from third as Indiana Wesleyan tried to turn 2 with 1 out, and Carter beat the throw over to first. It was a high throw on the 6-4-3 double play try. Change up, and in front of that one again is Carter. She'll pull it foul once again, falling behind 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to Davis Carter, the catcher. Taylor needing 2 runs here in the bottom of the 6th to keep the game going. They're down by 9. And they get Carter to pop up. Foul ground, but that one will sail out of here. And the at-bat continues. Davis came into the day batting .355. 9 for 15 in her last 4 games. But is 0 for 2 today. 0-2. And Munn, the lefty screwball, darts high and away. And it's 1-2. Munn wearing that protective face mask in the circle. This week's Crossroads League Pitcher of the Week. 2 starts and 2 wins. 1-2 bounces in the dirt to make it 2-2. So before last week, Munn had not started a contest this season. But 2 starts, 2 wins. In 10 innings, has struck out 15 batters, walked 1, and allowed just 7 hits. 2-2 to Carter. Sits back, line drive, but again foul. She's allowed 2 hits here in this bottom of the 6th after Weaver had allowed none in the first 5 innings. She was inside the circle. Weaver flat out excellent. 1 run, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts, and retired 12 before being pulled before the start of the 6th. Floating, and Carter will chase that one high and tomahawks it out of play, excuse me. So Hannah Eiler, as we mentioned, coming in to play first base for the starter Kristen Exposito here in the bottom of the 6th. Taylor needing 2 runs to keep the game going, down by 9 with 1 out and runners at 2nd and 3rd. And they'll get Carter to pop this one up. Backpedaling and now coming in is Madel, having to hustle in. Then she has to reach up and make the catch over her head. And that's not Madel out there in center field. That's actually, it will be Madel, excuse me. She comes in and makes the catch for out number 2. And the Trojans will pinch hit as Hannah Eiler brings Davis Carter's bow back to her. So pinch hitting for the Trojans will be Katie Suits, freshman from Seymour, Indiana. But the Trojans down to their final out here in the bottom of the 6th, down by 9. First one for Munn. Suits will pop it up and foul. Katie comes in batting .263, 2 doubles and 3 runs batted in, going 5 for 19 so far this season. She's got runners at 1st and 2nd. And now she's down to her final strike as Munn fires one right over the heart at the knees to make it 0-2. They're down 10-1 here in this bottom of the 6th. They trailed 2-1 in the 2nd, and that's as close as they would get after tying it up in the bottom half of the 1st. 0-2, Suits off the end of the bat will lift this one to right. Boyer, foul territory, makes the catch for out number 3, and that will end our game number 1. In 6 innings, Indiana Wesleyan picks up their 31st win of the year. They win 10-1 in the first game of our double dip here this afternoon. We'll pause for about 25 minutes and then come back with our second contest between these 2 teams to wrap up the doubleheader here this afternoon. This has been a presentation of Taylor Softball here on the Trojan Sports Network.